This is going to be a super fast settings, setup guide, best tips and tricks and things that I use to get the best quality footage on the Osmo Pocket 3. I'm not going to have a ton of fancy B-roll in this video. I'm literally just going to go through all the best settings and the best things that you need to know for best use cases. Now, to get the best cinematic footage out of the Osmo Pocket 3, here are the settings that I have right listed over here. A lot of people agree that these are some of the best settings that you would use. If you're trying to be cinematic, you want motion blur, so therefore 24 frames a second is kind of the gold standard with double the shutter speed. Now, to do that, you are going to need one of these in most cases. This is a ND filter. You can pick these up for pretty cheap. This actually is a variable ND and it lets you spin it, so you have basically multiple different ones in one filter. Super handy, and you're gonna need that to get double the shutter speed, especially in broad daylight. I do feel like the Osmo Pocket 3 does overcompensate a little bit on its exposure. That's why the exposure is set to -0.7. And then the 50 to 400 auto ISO range is just helpful for basically allowing the camera to adjust a little bit, but not allowing it to go too high in its ISO, because then you start losing the quality in your image. Just so you know where all the settings are located on this camera, let me show you really quick where all these different things are. If you swipe up from the bottom, that's where you have your resolution. That's where you can change the frames per second and 1080 up to 4K. If you click on this bottom left-hand corner, that's where you can go to the different modes. If you swipe over from the right, that's where you can find videos that you've shot on the camera already. If you click on this little button, that's the different intelligent modes. You have face auto detect, dynamic framing, and a spin shot mode. If you click on this side thing right here, that allows you to use the joystick to zoom in or zoom back out. If you slide to the right, that's how you get to your video settings. Now you need to turn Pro on to get to the rest of the video settings that I talked about here. Now the one thing that can be kind of hard to find is the exposure one. Go between shutter speed and exposure compensation. You have to click right up here at the top. Now this is exposure compensation. If you click again, that is the shutter speed. If you swipe down from the top, that's where you get into all of your normal settings for the camera. And this gear one has all the excess settings that you could possibly want for the rest of the Osmo. And if you're intimidated a little bit by D-Log, don't be. It's super simple. It basically just gives you a slightly higher dynamic range, so more details in the shadows and the highlights, though not too much because this is a very small 1-inch sensor in this camera. But DJI does have a free Osmo Pocket 3 LUT that you can download from their site, and basically if you slap that on the footage, it looks great, and that just gives you a little more flexibility in post. I usually turn down the sharpness and the noise reduction all the way to -2 for both of those. I usually don't want the camera doing any kind of in-camera editing. That's how I believe you get the best footage out of it. The other ones that I'll go to is I'll usually do the rotational speed. I'll set that all the way to slow, because that just helps eliminate some of the extra movement if I'm moving the camera around, and it also gives you a much smoother pan, but obviously you might need the default or the fast speed for certain situations, so kind of do that according to whatever the situation is. And then I also leave the gimbal in follow mode, which basically allows the camera to follow wherever I turn it. The important hack to know here is that if you hold onto this, it actually puts you in tilt lock mode. So basically it keeps the horizon locked when you move the camera. So it's super easy to jump between those two modes by just holding down that. The other thing that's super helpful that I use is if you start recording and then you started recording too early, or it's a bad take, you just want to delete it without going into the menu and deleting the footage, you can literally just press and hold the record button while it's recording, and it will delete that current clip that you just recorded. You can also double click on this joystick and it will recenter the gimbal right in front, which is super handy. The other mode that I use a lot, especially if you're going to do any kind of vlogging situation, is the auto face detect. Now in general, what I would do is you can just double click on the screen. Now as I move, the camera will track my face. Now the thing a lot of people don't also know is that you can actually get dynamic framing just from moving the joystick. So once I'm in auto face detect, I can actually just move the camera over a little bit, and now it's going to detect my face and keep it framed how I frame the shot right there. So I don't actually have to go and do any other setting. I can literally just do the auto face detect and then move the joystick. It makes it super simple. Now I'd actually recommend that you don't get the creator combo, the one that comes with the mic. I think it's just basically paying an extra $150 for the mic. But here's what I would actually recommend. Why don't you just buy the DJI Mic 2, which I would argue is the best mic to get still. You can literally buy this for $69 on Amazon right now. So it's actually a great value for money. This mic is fantastic. It sounds pretty darn good. It's got noise cancellation on it. Some of the other most amazing features for this thing is that it has 32-bit float. Basically means that you can shout or you can speak really quietly, and it's going to record all of that, and you have the leeway to, and you're not going to lose any data in the recording that you do, which is awesome. The other cool thing that this has is it has internal recording built into this, so you can hit this red button and then the mic will just record without even the camera being on, which is fantastic. It's nice to just be able to record the audio. Say if you're shooting with a different camera, you can still use this mic, which is phenomenal. Plus it has a headphone jack built in the mic as well, which is great because if you want to use a lav mic, a lot of times that will give you really good sound. Plus you could attach a higher quality lav to this and get phenomenal sound into this super handy thing that literally when you turn your camera on, it syncs up directly and you automatically get good audio going to your camera. Now, another recommendation is don't buy the DJI mic. It's like $49. You can literally buy a 3-pack of these basic lavs from Amazon for $7. It's 3 for $7. So it's what, $250 a mic almost? You're gonna get very good sound quality just out of a standard lav mic. You really don't need to spend a lot of money to get good audio quality, and audio is one of the most important things that you can do for your video. That's honestly what I would do. I would literally just buy one of these on its own. You also don't need the receiver to do the different settings. You can get to the settings in the Osmo Pocket 3 and you can turn on the 32-bit float and you can turn off the low cut, which I would recommend. You don't actually need to buy the receiver. That just costs you more money. So this is definitely what I recommend that you would pick up as well to go with your Osmo. Actually, hold that thought, because right now on Amazon, the creator combo is actually on sale for 33% off. So it's actually cheaper than buying it separately right now. I don't know how long this is gonna last, but I put the link in the description so you can go grab that, because that's honestly a fantastic deal right now. So unless it's 33% off, then normally I would recommend buying them separately, but otherwise it's a no-brainer. Okay, back to the video. Now, the last tip and recommendation that I would say is, while the Osmo does actually give you very smooth footage on 3 axes, the main downfall of a lot of these gimbals is it doesn't give you any stabilization on the Z axis, which is basically up and down. Even if the camera's only moving up and down a very tiny bit, you can see that in the footage. It just doesn't look that great. So obviously, one thing that you can do to help get the best footage out of this is the Ninja Walk. That's the Gimbal 101 move that everyone uses. It's basically bending your knees and just rolling from heel to toe and walking very smoothly and trying to hold your body quite rigid up here. I'll do a demonstration right here so you can see it. And that basically helps you get much smoother shots from using this gimbal. Now, here's one other hack that's kind of an old school hack that I would recommend for trying to get rid of some of that Z axis up and down movement. And what this is basically getting some sort of tether. Now this, I don't even know if you can buy these anymore. I bought this so long ago. This is a tether. It's kind of like one of those things that you put your keys on, you know, people that have their keys on their belt and they have the line on that. That's basically what this is. And it has a little lock here. You lock it, you screw the bolt into the bottom here, and then literally what this does is it gives you one more point of contact that just helps stabilize your shot. Now this is best just if you're doing a small shot where you're just literally rotating left to right like this. That's actually going to help eliminate a lot of your up and down because you have one more point of contact. People will do this also with their camera straps too. If you've seen people put it around their neck and they'll hold it tight, that also just gives you a much smoother shot if you're moving it. And honestly, that's usually most of the shots that I would do is I would just do a little bit of movement left to right around something. And just having this one extra point of contact is so much more helpful for getting a really smooth shot. But if you don't want to buy one more thing, don't worry, you don't even have to buy something like this. Literally all you would need to do is go to your local hardware store and get a 1/4-inch screw and then a piece of string. You can tie the string around the screw and bada bing, bada boom, you have the exact same thing. You can tie the string to your belt loop, you're good to go, you can hold it. It works just as well if you use a piece of string. You don't even have to buy another product for that. There's a lot of talk about the Osmo Pocket 4 coming out now. Honestly, I think this camera is gonna still be relevant for many years to come because it's got so many good things going for it. I don't think the Osmo Pocket 4 is going to be that much of a leap that people are gonna wanna get that. You might as well get this. It's gonna probably come with a little bit of a price drop too coming up as well. But who knows, maybe I'll eat my words on that. Anyway, I hope that helped and we'll see you next time, fam.